One of the big questions that a lot of individuals have when using these sorts of programs is, how do I make sure that my data is safe? How do I back my data up, and how do I access that backed up data? Now, in Outlook, there's a way that we can create a backup, but it's not a very, I would say, intuitive way to create a backup. So I'm going to go through the process with you and then show you how you can change the settings of that data file and how you can access it as well. So from our email inbox, we're just going to navigate into our File menu. We're going to stay in the Info tab here, and we're going to go to Account Settings. Now in Account Settings, if you click on this other Account Settings sort of icon, it will take you to a place where you can see your email accounts. Next, we'll navigate over to the Data Files tab, and here is where you can see the data files that you currently have. Now there are two ways to add data files, and these data files can be a backup file essentially, and they can also act as a file for all of your predetermined fonts, for example, your formatting, maybe your styles that you like to use, as well as your signature. So in order to create a new one, there are two ways. We could create a new one from here. We could add a data file right here. Or if we close this, we can actually add a data file by just creating a new Outlook item. So it's not a new email. We're going to actually open this list here, and we're going to go to More Items, all the way to the bottom where it says Outlook Data File. By default, this is saved as My Outlook Data File, and it's saved into Outlook files in your documents. So we'll just save that there. We'll just give that OK. And it's not going to take me very long to save, just because this isn't something that's too large at the moment. Now, you'll see I'm searching my Outlook data file. If there are certain things that I want to add to this data file, I can actually drag them and drop them into this right here, and then make sure that I actually save this somewhere else in my computer. Then if we go into our settings, so we go back into File here, we go to Account Settings and Account Settings again. If we go over to Data Files, you'll notice that my Outlook data file is now input in here as well as another sort of account. Now, if I wanted to remove this but also save some of that data, I could open its file location and just make sure I was aware of where that file was, so that if I needed to add this data into another Outlook program, I could do so at a later point. Now, this data file could then be taken with you, for example, on an external hard drive or maybe even an SD card if it's not too large, so that you could actually input that data into any Outlook client on a laptop or other PC. So if we close out of that, you'll be back in this data file section. Now we can click on Settings here to actually alter just a few settings of our data file. And we don't have too much that we can actually do other than just add or remove data to this file. So the settings that we have available for us here are actually changing a password here if we want to add some privacy to this, and also making this more compact if maybe it's too large of a file to either send in an email or to actually fit on one of your drives. Now, if it's small enough that you can actually just send that around or keep it maybe on a pen drive, then you can just keep all of these the same and maybe make a comment if you want to say that this is your backup file, and then just click on OK. You can always remove this file from your list here, which will not remove the file from your computer. So just keep that in mind, that it just will not show up or be enabled in your list here. So I'll just click on Remove right there, and I'd like to remove that Outlook file. So then, if you want to create another one again, we could just do that right from here. Click on Add, and we can choose to add again our data file here, which, as I said before, is still created. So data files are a very good way to back up your data, and you don't need too many. You only really need that one backup file that you can continuously add to make sure it's kept up to date, just in case something goes wrong with you or your server.